Oh boy, hi Frankenstein. Okay, before we go any further, this movie kind of worried me because I have a very specific pet peeve when it comes. It's very specific to the subject of Frankenstein, anything related to Frankenstein, and that is whenever the topic of Frankenstein is brought up in like a social circle or in a conversation online or something. People be talking about it back and forth, and there's always one chucklehead who has to just jump in and be like, actually, Frankenstein was the name of the doctor, not the monster. I don't know if you were aware. Fuck you. If you've ever done that to someone who is over the age of 6, fuck you, because everybody knows Frankenstein is the name of the doctor, not the monster. It's common knowledge at this point. You are not so privileged to this information to be bestowing this down onto us lesser folk. You're impressing no one but yourself. If you want to jerk off to yourself, just do it in your own time. It would be like if somebody was going to get me a drink and I say, "Hey Rich, can you get me a drink too?" And someone jumped in like, actually his name is Richard." It's like, I know his name is Richard. I know this already. It's for the sake of brevity. It's just because we all know, we're all on the same page of what that means, but explaining it now has effectively canceled out any brevity, any waste of time that we saved, so thank you. Okay, now that that's done, what did I think of I Frankenstein? Well, this sucker's sitting on like a 5% or something like that on Rotten Tomatoes. Not doing too great. Understandably so. It's a pretty bad movie. It's ironic because the whole, like, a lot of the focus for Aaron Eckhart's character, they call him Adam a lot of the time. The focus for the main guy's what he's after, or the story itself, is just based around the fact that he has no soul, and that is ironic to me because the movie itself feels like it has no soul. It is, you can predict it beat for beat from the moment that it starts. You can see every turn that it's gonna take a mile before before it actually takes it. And the whole time I was watching it, I couldn't help but think, it's not that I was sitting there like pissed off, and I wasn't sitting there like, why am I watching this movie? It was more like I was just sitting there saying, why am I watching this movie when we could have just gotten another Underworld movie? Because it looks and feels like an Underworld movie. Like if I just walked in on someone watching this, I might mistake it for being an Underworld movie at first, because aesthetically it looks identical. A lot of the same concepts are used. A secret war going on in front of mankind's eyes, and they just don't know about it. Here's the thing, though. Underworld is a perfect example of what a mindless action movie done right can be, because it's a perfect action movie, really. Well, no, Die Hard is a perfect action movie. Underworld is a very, very good action movie. But here's the thing. Underworld has vampires versus werewolves. Okay. Excuse me. And very early in the movie, we have a human character, Michael, I think his name is, played by Scott Speedman. And as things get explained to him, they get explained to us, the audience, so we can kind of understand, the history of this war, or how it happens in this world, what the current situation is, what the stakes are, etc., etc. Now, compare that to I Frankenstein. The human character that we're introduced to, and, gets everything explained to them and stuff like that, is not introduced into the movie until about 50 some odd minutes, about an hour into the movie. And the movie is only an hour and a half. So at this point in the movie, by that point, it's kind of hard to care because we don't know. We're just kind of left scratching our heads, like, well, how does any of this work? Like, they're just all they really say is there's been a war between rebel, and it's like you don't get too much else other than that. Just, oh, there was a war for some reason. Okay. And things are kind of explained to Adam, the Frankenstein monster character, but not really. He's kind of just like this dumb idiot that walked into the middle of a Nerf war fight and is not really sure how it started, what happened, or anything like that. They just kind of spout off expository dialogue to bring you up to speed. Characterization is pretty fucking piss poor. It does the thing where the characters are introduced but not established. You get their name and you get their job, but you don't get anything else about them. Not a single character is allowed to decide things or breathe or interact with each other. They just enter the scene, they do their job, and then they leave. No one's allowed to really be anything or have any kind of ambition or. And again, I'm not looking for Shakespeare here. I'm just the basic stuff. In an action movie, action takes place because of motivation. If the characters don't have much motivation or anything like that, it's all soulless is what we come back to. It's ultimately just a soulless movie. The other big thing is that the other main fault that I had with it was that, again, going back to Underworld, you establish very soon we were following the Scott Speedman character, and we realize who he's siding with. He sides with Selena, not so much vampires or werewolves, because they're both. He sides with Selena, so we have a side to go with. In I, Frankenstein, they bounce back and forth a lot between who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. Both the gargoyles and the demons, they both express qualities where you can see where they're coming from, and then they turn around and do something horrible. You need to kind of let us know who we're supposed to root for, because Adam does not know what he's looking for, or what he wants. He's basically just a tool for for each side to use. And then again, the gargoyles and demons both backstab and lie and all this other kind of stuff. There is no clear side to cheer for until the final action sequence. Then it's a little more clear. But that really needed to have been established like a good hour or so before that. So that way we know who to root for. So when someone dies, we know what to feel. But it ultimately, again, just kind of comes out as soulless because the characters they have nothing to them. It's just, this is my name, this is my job, and then they go to the next person. Like, you don't know them by any other profession. I will say this, in its favor, the action sequences are really well shot. They would be really great action scenes if we knew or cared what was going on. Aaron Eckhart is actually, like I haven't seen him like in an action movie type role before. I think he was in that movie Paycheck or something like that. Or maybe that was Ben Affleck. But I mean, I'd like to see him do more stuff like this. He's very capable. A lot of the shots, especially the hand-to-hand stuff, he's cheating his face out to the audience, so you can very clearly see that it's him doing it. So I mean, he handles himself really well. Even though, again, the character has absolutely nothing to it. He's physically, like, he can hold his own, and he's got a good screen presence. So I'd like to see him do more action stuff. The romance grossed me out. But then again, Warm Bodies already established that you can fuck dead bodies and it'll be popular. So I guess that's just the norm now, is fuck dead people. Bill Nye is back, and he's deliciously hammy. He always... Even in something kind of crappy like this, he always comes across as an actor that has fun with his job, that he, really seems to enjoy what he does, and that's always nice. It is really kind of a rare thing to see now. Jai Courtney plays one of the gargoyles. Some of you, apparently he has a following. I had never even heard of his name before until I saw that the latest Die Hard movie. Apparently he's a thing. I don't know why. We already have a Sam Worthington. We don't need another one. I will say this, though. At least, if Jai Courtney has an accent, at least he's willing to hide it, unlike Sam Worthington, who just brings his Australian accent to every fucking movie he does. Minor quip. But, yeah, I guess that ultimately kind of rounds it out. It's stupid. You don't need to see it. It's pretty much exactly what it looks like. It's really fucking stupid. Screenwriting-wise, it's a disaster. Again, we have no one to root for, and then we don't have a character to kind of bring us into the story. All we have is Adam, who, again, doesn't even know what he wants until about 40-some minutes into the movie. So, I say skip it, unless, when DVD rolls around, or if it's on demand, and you want something, and you're genuinely in the mood for a bad movie, it's perfect. It just made me really want to watch Underworld again, because that's such a better movie than this. My final thought, I guess, is just when people say Frankenstein, don't correct them, because we all already know. Don't waste our time. Okay, that's it. See ya.